guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm working on a bunch of different kind of stuff right now, but this is a video that I've been meaning to do because these clothes are sitting around my house taking up space. So I have a whole pile right here on the floor in front of me that I'm posting on Instagram today, and I'm gonna get your input on what I should do to upcycle them because they've been hanging around. I haven't been wearing them really. It's like t-shirts that I thought were cool, that I could do something cool too to like kind of break them up because I have so many t-shirts, and then 3 just like blank sweatshirts that I had bought for letter shirts back when I was an undergrad, and they're great sweatshirts. I was honestly gonna donate everything, but then I thought this would be cool to show you guys some like upcycling techniques or dyeing, whatever, embroidery, ways to bring life into garments that you like but maybe don't really wear anymore. So I am posting on Instagram. I just took all these pictures of all of them. I'll show you my setup, but yeah, so I'm excited. Hopefully you guys pick some dye techniques that I can walk you through. Bleaching, cutting, making it new, I don't know, we'll see. So yeah, stay tuned. Up for pictures that I just took for the clothes. That's my favorite. That's like one of my favorite shirts right there. But I bought 2 of them in white because I wanted to do something to it, because I just love it. I have it in orange and then 2 whites. So I want to see what to do with this one, and then this is the pile of clothes that I have that I'm gonna try and get upcycled into something that I'm gonna wear. So let's see. All right, thank you guys for responding on my Instagram stories. I will be showing the winners for each one. So to begin, I'm going to be taking the white sweatshirt, which was shibori. So that's going to take me a little while to do the sweatshirt because shibori is a type of resist technique where you stitch it in. So I got thick thread that I can pull. You want to test like the tensile strength of the thread because you're going to be pulling it through the fabric really tight to create the resist. So I got my strong thread, I got my needle, and now I have my sweatshirt. I think I'm going to do kind of different ideas. I don't know what I'm going to stitch into it. I was kind of thinking like different ideas for each part, and then I have to decide what color to dye it as well, because nobody said any color. They just, well, I think I made that one a poll, like a if and or whatever. So I have no color in mind yet either. I don't know, I'm kind of feeling navy. I'll have to check my dye supply, but yeah, so I am going to get stitching on this, and then we'll get into the other DIYs. All right. So first arm is stitched and resisted. So we'll see how that goes. I still have literally the whole sweatshirt left. But now that I'm thinking about it, it might be cool just to do the sleeve, the sleeves, the hood. Yeah. I think I'm gonna try that first. Instead of doing the whole thing, do just the 2 sleeves and the hood, and yeah, maybe do like an ombre on the body. Because I sped it up. I'm gonna speed it up for the video, but that took me 16 minutes to get that sewn and resisted. So on to the next. So finally done stitching. Sleeve 1, sleeve 2, hood. Alright, so that looks funny, but it is all prepared, and now I don't know if I want to do the cutting ones next or start the dyeing. Probably start the dyeing, so let's get going. Okay, so I have all my dye stuff set up. I am going to put on my smock because I don't want to get dye on my shirt. Alright, let's put this out of the way. Alright, okay, so I have a little bleach station set up. I have the shibori, and then I have an ombre. So let's get started. Okay, so first we are going to set up the neon yellow, which the most requested suggestion for this was ombre, and somebody even suggested ombre to dark green. So I happen to have dark green packet right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it in my stock pot right here. So I've been dyeing for a while, so I kind of eyeball stuff. I do have some measuring cups and stuff to sorry, I thought I heard a bug. To do the dye work, but I kind of just eyeball it. I know if you want me to do a more in-depth, like actually how to dye stuff and proper technique and all that kind of stuff, let me know. I would be more than happy to do that. Dyeing is one of my favorite things to do, So that I've done it a lot, so that's why I do that. So I am actually gonna fill up this water with how much I want to soak it up, and I'm not gonna pre-wet this garment because I don't want the ombre to be oversaturated. So I'm gonna actually take it out of the pot for right now, and I'm gonna fill up the pot with water. So here we go. What I'm going to do now is make the dye. So this dye is saying that it doesn't need any kind of reactant, which is interesting, except for salt. So we're gonna put some salt in there. All I have is rock salt. Ooh. So I filled it up a little less than halfway. Just gonna mix the salt so that it melts. Key thing for when you are dyeing is it's pretty important to make the dye in a separate container. That way it's more concentrated and you have you know what the color will be before you put it into your dye bath, because sometimes the color might not be right, or you might want to add something to it, who knows. So it's always better to just go ahead and make it in a separate. So it says the whole packet dyes ½ pound of dry cloth, and I'm not really going to be dyeing that much, especially since this is an ombre. So just kind of eyeballing how much I want to use, and then I'm going to save that in a container. And so then let me grab my little spatula, and then you just add some hot water. So this is really interesting. I'll show you in a second. I just need to, so you can kind of hear all the particles dissolving. You want it, I added a little too much water because you kind of want it to make a paste so that you can really dissolve all those dye crystals, because if you don't dissolve them all and you just kind of pour it in there, it can lead to like patching in your dye work, which I mean honestly wouldn't be the worst part since this will be an ombre. Like, it's not an even dye. I don't know if you can hear me. All right. So this is that is what the dye looks like in powder form. You can see that it's not green, it's like pale yellowish. And then when I added the hot water, that's the color it is. So very interesting. So I don't know if you could hear me, but what I was saying is that it's important to dissolve all the dye crystals so that you don't get patchiness when you're dyeing. But a lot of the times that is if you want a full even dye, which is kind of hard to do because it takes a lot of attention. You have to agitate your water every 15 minutes to get full coverage. And honestly, part of the cool thing about hand dyeing is the imperfections. I learned that from one of my teachers in undergrad. She was like, if we wanted even dye, we could go to the store and buy it. Whereas if you're hand dyeing something, you want to have that kind of genuine feel to it. So, you know, we kind of live for those imperfections, but for true like dye technique, you want to make sure that all your crystals are dissolved. So I'm going to add a little more water to this, mix it around. And then, oh, it's so pretty. Okay, just doing some last minute mixing. Okay, and so this is the final color. Yay! Okay, so now we're gonna add this to our dye bath. And then I like to put a little bit more water. Try and get the last of that dye in there. I'm just gonna mix that around a little bit. Alright, let's rinse this out. Put that over here for now. Let me I always have a towel around so that I don't mess up my nice towels or anything. So that's my dye towel. And clean up any messes or whatever. Okay, so here's the sweatshirt and it's gonna go in now. I hope it turns out cool. So what I'm gonna do is dunk it a little higher once to kind of get, I'm gonna kind of like dunk it a little bit. And then I'm just gonna let it soak. So here we go. All right. So I'm gonna dunk it once, dunk it, and then I'm just gonna leave it like this. Dunk it a little bit. Gonna let it sit and then rinse off my hand. All right, so that is the ombre neon. We're gonna let that sit for a little bit and move on to the next one. All right, so we're gonna do the Shibori white sweatshirt now. I decided to do kind of like a navy. So I have my 3 bowls of water sitting in front of me. You'll see them in a second. And we're gonna put the sleeves and the hood in those. So for this, I'm using MX reactive dyes. So these are pretty intense. Like we weren't allowed to use these in grad school because they require soda ash as the reactive agent, which can be really harmful if you inhale it. So I'm actually gonna wear a mask when I'm doing this. So just be aware of that. But these are the dies that I used in undergrad to create all my works, so I'm very familiar with them and the handling of them. So these aren't like, you can't buy this at Joann's or anything. If you want to do dyeing at home, I highly recommend RIT. And if you're nervous about, you know, powder and the kinds of effects that that can have on your health, just get the pre-mixed ones. They're just as good, and they're less risky, I guess. So, but I'm gonna use the blue MX and the black MX. I'm gonna mix them together to try and make a darker blue. So watch out. Okay, so I have my mask on. What I'm gonna do now is to make my dye. So let me grab that. And then you won't see my face again because I'm gonna turn you down to the bowls. So here we go. So I'm going to add the blue dye. We wait. Okay, so the red and the Brooks and Dunn were voted to be bleached. So I'm in the bathroom with toilet cleaner because that's the only bleach I have in my house because I forgot to go and buy some. So we're gonna see how this works. If it doesn't work, then I'll do it again. But we're gonna try this because I saw somebody else do it and it worked. So, all right, I have them in my bathtub. So we'll see. All right, guys, let's see if this works. So we're gonna let that settle and we'll come back and see if it worked. Okay, so next we have the Woodstock shirt to bleach. And then possibly tie-dye on top of it, so we're gonna see. So all I'm gonna do is kind of roll it right now. Then we're gonna put some rubber band resist on it. There's our little t-shirt. I'm gonna put it in this bowl and we're gonna add the bleach. Then I'm gonna, so you're supposed to be wearing gloves and I am out of gloves and I was like, oh, it's okay. I won't touch anything. I'll be really good, not get my hands in anything, and that was incorrect and bad. So let's put some cling wrap on my hand and see we're just going to flip it. That didn't work. Flip. Okay, flipped it so we can get this side. All right, close that. Throw away the cling wrap. Not a huge fan of that since it's a single-use thing, but I had to throw away my reusable gloves, like the bigger, thicker ones, because my rings kept tearing holes in them, so it defeated the purpose of wearing gloves. And I ran out of my disposable ones. So yeah, we're gonna try and not use our hands as much as possible. And we'll see how that goes. All right, so we're gonna let this sit, and now we have one more thing to dye. So next is the white shirt. Okay, so we are mixing up the dyes for the white t-shirt. I picked 3 colors. I am going to be using the violet. I haven't seen what it looks like yet. Purple and turquoise. So I love the turquoise. I've used that a lot. I haven't used, well, actually I guess I might have used violet and not purple. So we're gonna see what they look like. And I kind of want them to be pastel-y, so I'm gonna add a lot more water to these. So we're gonna see. I'm excited. All right. T-shirt done the same way that I just did the gray Woodstock, except I added a few more rubber bands. Got my hair everywhere. So I'm gonna put it in here, and we're gonna pour the 3 dyes that I just mixed in there. So let's see. So the red's not doing too much, but the Brooks and Dunn is red. So we'll wash those out real soon. Here's the Woodstock shirt, ready to be rinsed of bleach. Now for the ombre. The bleached garments have been rinsing for a little while. I was taught in undergrad that in order for the bleach not to further corrode your garment, that you should also soak it in hydrogen peroxide. So I'm just gonna switch that out, rinse them out, pour this in, let them soak for a little bit, and we'll see what they turn out as. Okay, so while things are rinsing and dyeing and soaking in hydrogen peroxide, we can do the cut garments. So the red sweatshirt, the vote was to crop it. So we'll see how that goes. I think I'm gonna go right above the pocket just to still have a little length on it, and then yeah, we'll see. And then it was unanimous that the mouse rat shirt, yay, Parks and Rec, is gonna become a gym tank. So that should be fun. So let's get started. So that's been soaking all night in the dye. That's been soaking in hydrogen peroxide, and that big one has been soaking in dye. He's been drying. We'll see where he's at. Still very damp. All right, so I actually am packing up to leave, so some of this might have to be transported like this. We'll see. Okay, so I made it back to my family's house. I had to pack up all the wet stuff in like plastic bags and stuff to get them here. So we are going to put them outside to dry because some of them were dyed with soda ash, which can, if you don't rinse it out thoroughly enough, which I believe I have, but I don't know. I don't like to take risk like that, but if you don't rinse out all the soda ash, you could start a fire. So we're not going to do that. We're going to let the sun dry them, and we'll see how they turned out. All right, so all of the garments are now dry, and I'm going to model them for you guys. Two of them didn't come out as I had hoped. This is why it's very important to read your labels 100%. The two sweatshirts that I dyed were 50-50 cotton poly blend. So my dyes only dyed the cotton part, which made the overall job like lackluster. So I'm actually not trying on the white sweatshirt because I want to get polyester dye and really give the shibori a chance. So I will show you it, but I won't be wearing it. All right, little fashion show. First is the Mouse Rat Muscle Tee. Turned out pretty good. It's pretty long because it's a men's, but A+. Next is the cropped red sweatshirt. Kind of gave a preview of this one already. It's a little more cropped than I would like, but I really actually like the cropped look, and I think I want to buy an even like oversized sweatshirt and do this again. So yay, success. Brooks and Dunn bleached shirt. So it's pretty cool. I think I might even turn this into a muscle tee just because I like the way the Mouse Rat one turned out, and why not? Because the sleeves didn't really, a little bit of bleach, but I don't know. I'm still kind of iffy, so we'll see. All right, next is the Woodstock tee that I bleached. I actually really like it, but I think somebody said to like cut out the neck, so I'm thinking maybe I could cut it and it would be like off the shoulder maybe, and that could be kind of cool and Woodstock like. So I'm gonna try that. And any of these like suggestions that I'm saying right now that I might do to these, check my TikTok because that's where I'm gonna put them, because it's easier to show like short little stories like that. All right, so on to the next. Red, bleached, didn't work. Womp womp. What I'm thinking is instead I could dye it. So maybe I'll do some shibori to this one and jazz it up a little bit because nothing happened. All right, so this is the 50-50 blend sweatshirt. As you can see, my dark green ombre did not turn out as I had hoped. So again, look for my TikTok. I'm going to be getting some polyester dye and we're going to give this one a redo. All right, guys, so this one is my favorite. Look at it. It's so cute. And it's like humongous, which A+. But yeah, this is the white t-shirt that I bought. And we did like the purple, violet, turquoise on it. The turk is not pulling through as much as I thought it would, but I'm actually really loving it. So yay, A+. This and Mouse Rat and the crop sweatshirt have been my favorite. So next I'm going to show you the absolute fail of the white sweatshirt, but we'll fix it. Okay. Here is the white sweatshirt. Yeah. So it's definitely not white anymore. It definitely took some of the dye. But I just feel like we could do better. Don't you think? Like, I'm just like, yeah. I don't want to take the resist out. I just don't think it'll be that dramatic. I'm looking at it and I feel like if I do the polyester dye, it'll just be a cooler thing. And then the front could just be this like light blue, ice blue type thing. So keep a lookout. Like I said, all these like little updates I want to put on my TikTok. That way it can be quick and easy. But yeah, thank you guys so much for helping me with this. I actually just got some clothes donated to me that I think we can upcycle too. So I might be doing another one of these depending on if you guys like it or not. And yeah, I had a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to be wearing basically all of these, especially the ones that I turned into muscle tanks, and this one I love, crop, whatever. Yeah, so thanks guys, and I'm sorry for the length of this video. Everything took longer than I expected it to. So yeah, all right, well, I will see you guys in the next one.